for me, I can speak, it wasn't mine. So I was trying to prove to my family that I was successful, that I wasn't a failure. I was trying to prove to my friends that I was worthy of being in their crowds. I was trying to prove to the world, and I get emotional as I just speak this, that I mattered, that I was important, that I was of value, because all my life I felt like I wasn't because of what I didn't have, what I didn't receive, what I needed people to give me. And I just found myself. Welcome to Healing Conversations podcast.
Podcast.
Yes. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Conversations podcast.
Podcast.
As you know, this is our space that we come together and we talk all things healing, all things expansion, all things growth, and we bring where we are in real life time to this space and we talk through it, we feel it, we heal it. And as I always say, we be the example of what healing and change looks like, and we send that ripple out into the collective, and we support by being and less doing.
Yes, and this is a collective conversation. So make sure you are getting into the comments, you're getting into our DMs, you're sending us emails, you're letting us know how these conversations have impacted you, how this season has enriched you, all of the beautiful guests that we've had this season, all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the insight. How has this helped support your healing journey? This is not just me and Raymel and our beautiful people sharing. We are also wanting to listen and to hear. So make sure you are hitting us up on Instagram at Raymel Bentley and at VZ Spaces, and let us know what this conversation is doing for you and for your life. And today, this beautiful season finale, we have
Yes.
a wonderful collection of our guests here with us. And I have no idea what this conversation is going to be like, but I know it's going to be rich and thick and juicy. So hang on. Raymel, go ahead and introduce the topic and let's get
Yes, y'all.
started.
Like Sister Angelique said, this is going to be a very special, empowering, impactful last episode of Healing Conversations podcast. And as I always say, I feel like I say this every episode, it's really going to support someone. It is because all of our conversations are very rich and juicy, and it just ignites something in me. And I can just imagine how it supports everyone who tunes in. So today, let's dive into it. We're going to dive into the conversation of allowing ourselves that space to just be and rest and not be lost in the doing. And as we were having our just pre-conversation and just listening to how everyone's week has been after a high, everyone, well, pretty much everyone, but Sister Jessica and I went to the ACES conference with Dr. Tori. And it's that feeling of just being in that high vibration, receiving all the juicy information, and you're on this high. And then once you get back to reality, it's the integration. And having that downtime of rest, having that time to process, having the time to just really allow your nervous system to settle into that new frequency
Mm,
that it was in, it really can affect you. And I know for me, on my journey of just what I know I was taught to do, coming from a family who didn't have much, and we were always just in the scarcity mindset. I was taught to hustle. I got my first job when I was 12, working at the 99-cent store. I remember going to ask the manager if I can just work under the table just to, because actually I enjoyed the store. We never had money to buy much, but I would just like to see the things in. So I just had a curiosity of let me see if I can work here. And I asked my mom, like, Mom, can I get a job? She's like, yeah, if you can give me some money. So I'm like, well, as long as I can keep a little, let me do it. And I started working there under the table, and I realized that the majority of my childhood, teenage, adult life has just been work, 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 do, do, do. And I've never had that just chance to just be still. There were times I worked two, three jobs and literally working 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I didn't realize how much of a toll it was taking on my body, how much it was affecting my mind, and how much emotionally I was avoiding and running. So I got lost in being busy, stay doing, because if
Mm,
I just sit and be, that uncomfortableness of you got some emotions, you're angered, you're sad, you're a little happy, but there was so many things that were uncomfortable that were trying to come through me. But at the time, I didn't have any awareness that I do now. So I'm like, well, let me go to work. Let me go out. Let me numb. Let me run. Because sitting just felt uncomfortable. It's like I got lost in the bombardiness of thoughts flowing through my mind, of feeling like I wasn't doing enough. That even though I was working and making the money, there's so much more I still need to do. And I was just chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing. But I felt like I was running into a wall.
mm,
And that wall made me feel as though there was nothing more that I can have because I did all that I can do. And I feel like in just life, we have a tendency to chase this goal. We're in this mission of life, but it isn't really, for me, I can speak, it wasn't mine. So I was trying to prove to my family that I was successful, that I wasn't a failure. I was trying to prove to my friends that I was worthy of being in their crowds. I was trying to prove to the world, and I get emotional as I just speak this, that I mattered, that I was important, that I was of value, because all my life I felt like I wasn't because of what I didn't have, what I didn't receive, what I needed people to give me. And I just found myself in this just do, do, do. And there were times where I wanted to give up because I didn't want to do it anymore. There were times that I just thought, what if I just end it because I don't want to be here anymore? So that being to me was the opposite. I didn't want to be anymore because I was tired of doing. So I'm excited to see how this conversation is just going to bring awareness to giving us that time, ourselves that time and that space to just be, to rest, and to allow instead of doing and forcing and chasing things in life that we already honestly have. So I'll end it there.
Thank you, Raymel, for opening this conversation. I can definitely relate, and I'm sure everyone here on the panel can also relate. I just want to share quickly before we get into everyone's shares. Um, Something that I'm learning to navigate in this season of my life, especially as I am leaning deeper into being of purpose and doing things that satisfy me and are of service to the world. Um, Still recognizing that that rest is necessary and that I do still have wiring in my brain and in my systems that says you gotta do. You know, on the other side of this conference, there's like the follow-ups and the content and the updating the things and keeping things rolling and keeping the momentum and um, we can find ourselves getting wrapped up in that. And I know for myself, right? Speak from the I. I can find myself getting caught up in that and not really taking time to fully digest the experience that just happened. However, I did give myself permission this week to really fully sit in it and I was gonna just take the Monday, right? I was like, okay, Monday, not gonna do anything, just gonna rest and, look at all the pictures, see what people are up to. But I found out that I really did need the whole week.
Hmm.
I really did need the whole week. Like my body and my mind really did need that time. And yes, I was producing content and getting things together, but I wasn't in the framework of I have to get this done or else I'm going to XYZ,
Hmm.
whatever consequence I make up in my mind about not doing the thing, right? And I'm really grateful that we're able to have this conversation today with all of these individuals here because I know all of them have been very hardworking people, and
Hmm.
have really put themselves out into the world in many different ways and forms, and have this experience. And so I know there's going to be a lot of wisdom here. And I was going to suggest, for the sake of keeping the conversation cute and concise, um, if we can go around and be very specific about what it is that our listeners can do to release that doingness and allow themselves to rest.
Mm.
Um, and I think that will be very helpful to people just to get a real tip, real insights on how we can practice that more. I saw Jorge had his hand raised a little bit,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna call on Jorge.
Hello, everybody. So, definitely, as we start doing all this healing, I realize how important it is to slow down. And the way I've also slowed down is by staying home, by staying away from people, and actually not doing anything. Um, before in my before my healing, I always had to do something. I always had to be somewhere with someone, be surrounded by people. And something I learned at this conference, thank you, Jason, is I'm a people pleaser. And being a people pleaser, I want to be there for everyone. I
Hmm.
want to make sure that they have the groceries. I got to make sure that they're got that doctor appointment. And being an empath, also, I take all that in. We were just at a conference where everybody's energy and vibration was so high that my vibration was just as high or higher at times, and coming home to yourself alone in your own space and your own mind alone. Previously, I wouldn't know how to handle that. I would go use, or I would go find the company of somebody else, so that I could feel still some of that organic high and keep capturing it, keep holding on to it. But as I've done all of this, I realize I need space alone to myself, understanding my thoughts, not judging myself because I'm also one you should be doing something. Mom was always when you never sit on the bed after it's made up, and the bed has to be made up.
Hmm.
It cannot be unmade, and sitting on the bed is not a thing. You have to wait till bedtime to lay on the bed, not sit on it. So it's a big difference nowadays because so many people lay on bed to watch television. So that's something that I don't do, and something that I'm proud that was instilled in me because then I'd have the TV on all day. So, nonetheless, taking space for myself and not putting myself through judgment and putting myself through understanding myself that I've already done a lot and it's okay. I don't need to necessarily do nothing 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So,
Hmm.
with that, I'll pass on the mic.
Mm, thank you,
For that.
Jorge. Did you want to share anything before we went to Dr. Tori right now?
No, I just love that rest time, that downtime, that no judgment time. Because
Mm.
judgment creeps in, and that's where you just start feeling like, let me just do something instead of doing nothing. So I love that. Thank you. Dr. Toy?
There we go. There we go. For me, it's being intentional, really doing it,
Mm,
practicing what I preach. You
mm-hmm.
cannot be out here advocating for ACEs and telling people to breathe and rest and take a deep breath and not do those things. So I have been intentional, like sitting down, laying down on purpose because my energy moved a little different. I was running, and as much as I didn't want to, I tried my best not to, but kind of had to when you're running. So next year, I'm going to definitely not run as much and actually enjoy. I will say I enjoyed the conference this year. So taking in all of the things that the speaker brought, I brought that on to me, which was wonderful because I needed it. But
Mm-hmm.
the resolve, the aftermath, the calm, I don't think my body was ready for that. And as a result, what happened last year, I ended up having three seizures. This year I only had one. So I'm like, yay, that's good. However, I still got to check in and make sure that everything's okay. It's the reason why I advocate for ACEs because it really has a heavy toll on our nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the reason why I advocate for it so much because I actually go through it for real. So I'm advocating for ACEs, but I'm also trying to heal in regards to my adverse childhood experiences. And I'm learning. I'm learning like everybody else to take a sit down, slow
Mm-hmm.
down, rush. It's Friday and I feel much better. I think if I would have did that on Monday, no. Tuesday
Mm-hmm.
is when my seizure happened, I want to say. And Wednesday, here it is. I'm still recovering. So recovering isn't something that you have to force. It's something that your body is going to tell you when you're ready. And that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
also learning too. So when you have to rest, don't rush it because your body is going to reject you if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. Ugh,
Yes.
okay.
That's real. That's
That's so
real.
real.
Yeah, because we do get so on a roll, and especially as teachers, leaders, advocates, we're repeating these things, we're telling people all the time, but like Dr. Tori said, practice for yourself. Because otherwise we will find ourselves trying to rush through to the next thing so we can continue to show up for people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Powerful, powerful. I'll do the recap at the end, but I
Oh
saw
my
Jessica
goodness.
was ready to share.
Yes.
So what gem are you dropping, Jessica?
Yes. So this is a really great topic. In the I want to start off with the tip. So one of the things that I do now, especially, being in therapy, is asking myself, how am I feeling? And the other thing is I want us to think about like doing nothing is not necessarily doing nothing if you are in recovery, right? And that's something that I'm learning through working out. Recovery is just as important as lifting the weights and doing the cardio and all of that. And so the recovery is just as important to the process as doing the work. So, just
Mm-hmm.
reframing, that's something that I have to learn to do all the time is reframe the way I call things what they are, right? If I say I'm doing nothing, I feel shame. But if I say I'm recovering, now I feel like I'm still doing, great work, you know. And one of the things that I learned is that living in a world of performance, I used to play sports. I went to school, got degrees. A lot of these things are performances. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I neglected to do is check in with me and who I am and how I show up. And so now I'm like, okay, no more performing. Now it's like I need to show up. I need to be whatever it is I'm saying I'm going to be. I need to be that. And so it takes recovery. It takes that mental recovery, as George said, to be able to take that time to know, like, I'm still in the work. This is just another part of
Mm-hmm.
it. So,
Come on now.
Yes.
Come on now.
Mm,
Recovery is just as important as the doing. Like that's how
Living the
you allow the
process.
process to really process. And yeah, that somebody needed
Me.
that. Whenever I say somebody needs something, just count me in. Like just
Somebody is
imaginary hand
me.
up because I'm that somebody always. But I thank you for sharing that, Sister Jessica, because that is a big part of just any process. And the more you do, the less you allow the growth, the build of what it is that you're doing to truly develop. So thank you.
Mm, yes, thank you for that. Ooh, and next we have Elisa.
Yes.
Let us know what you got to
Mike,
share. Yes.
yes. Oh, I have been taking notes. This is so good, you guys. This is so, so good. When I hear you talk about just be, Raymel, just be, and how you didn't want to be. Man, I relate to that. I remember feeling that way because I had a very specific picture inside the frame of what being looked like.
Hmm.
I had to flip my mindset around that. And I know you've done that work too. Um, just to be, I know that my value is such that it's okay. I don't have to work another day in my life to prove my value. I don't have to please one more person for the rest of my life to prove my own value. My value is my value just because I am, just because I be.
Hmm.
This is my value. And I have this not because of what I do or who I perform for or what I accomplish. I have this value because it is spirit given to me.
Hmm.
And that's not something I can give back. It just is. My value is my value because I exist. And this is how we treat our loved ones, right? This is how I treat my husband. This is how I treat my kids, just because you are. I love you and you hold value for me simply because you are. And I also absolutely appreciate all the things you do for me, but that is separate and apart. So for anyone who is like new to this or really needs to peel this back a layer deeper, what is your value? Your value is who you are. Your value is also whose you are. And as a woman of faith, that is very important to me. I know whose I am. And that, Stacy, and that's very important to me. And that gives me my grounding and my foundation for my value. So I don't need to do to prove my value, but I do a lot of things because I'm driven by passion and purpose, not because I'm driven by proving myself.
Hmm.
And that's a very important nuance in my growth, in my expansion, in my recovery. That's become a very important nuance for me. Wait a minute, I too am a recovering people pleaser. Why am I doing this? What's my motivation? Why? Why?
Mhm.
Is the world going to burn down if I don't do this? If I don't do this thing for this person, um, is Jesus going to hate me forever? No. Those are not things that I have to worry about anymore. So as a recovering people pleaser, I choose, I can make choices for what is best for me in that moment, and I can understand that my identity is mine. It's not in relation to what I do for someone else or what I accomplish or my
Mm,
relation to someone else. My
yes.
relationship to me, I hold value all by myself. In
Mm,
recovering this last week, I did a very, very smart thing. I kept my entire week open. I did
mhm.
not have anything scheduled waiting for me when I came home from conference. I just left it wide open, except for small group on Wednesday night, which ended up getting canceled because snowstorm, of course. But that's fine because I was too tired to go anyway. So that gave me the night off. That gave me I wanted to get back to the gym. I didn't go until I felt ready, and that was okay too.
Hmm.
Um, it's just integrating that rest and what that I love that word integrate, Raymel, that you brought up. And I know I talked about integrating grief when on my episode with you. Which really made me curious, what does integrate rest look like?
Yeah.
And if I'm fully integrating my rest, I am breathing, I am sleeping, I am eating good things. It's not an excuse to, go on a carb binge. I'm taking good care of myself because I
Mhm.
appreciate myself, because I value myself.
Yeah.
Integrating rest might look different from day to day. Yesterday, it was sleeping in. Today, it was getting up early and going to the gym because my body was like, "Okay, we're ready to go. Let's get that workout in." Today, it was getting out in the sunshine with my dog because thank you, Lord, we finally have sunshine again. Getting out in the sunshine and soaking up some rays and going for a walk with my dog. That's what integrating rest looked like. It doesn't always look like being prone in bed, although that's a very valid option too. Just
Mhm.
allowing rest and the integration of that rest to be fluid and to change.